Welcome to the 23rd Psalm sequence. This one is going to start out on our knees, so if it would be helpful to you to have a blanket at the end of the mat, feel free to do that. We'll start out on our knees, but if that's not comfortable for you, you can always sit differently. You could be cross-legged or whatever. We're going to just move forward onto the floor, so whatever way you want to do that works fine for this. Okay? We're just going to start out at the back end of the mat with the hands at the heart. And then from here we'll reach the arms up overhead and then come down to our belly onto the floor. From here we'll roll the shoulders back and then lift up into a cobra pose, just lifting the heart off the floor. And then turn the toes under, lift all the way up into a downward facing dog, this kind of upside down V shape. Knees can be straight or bent, whatever works for you. And then walk the feet forward between the hands, right into a forward fold. From this forward fold, then we're going to reach the arms all the way up overhead. And then find a side bend on either side. So just lean over to one side, come back to the center, and then lean over to the other side. Come back to the center and then move into a chair pose. So bend the knees, set the hips back, reach the arms up next to the ears. And then come back up to standing, reach up overhead, and then fold right back into that forward fold. Knees can be bent. Plant the hands on the floor and step back into a plank pose. You can always bring your knees to the floor if you like. Lower all the way down to the floor, and then press back into a child's pose. You could have the knees together or wide. You could rest your head on your hands or just have the arms out in front, whatever works for you. Okay, and then you'll just come right back to that seated position at the back end of the mat. Let's do that again. So bring your hands to your heart. Starting out here, reach the arms up overhead, and then come all the way down to the floor. Just roll the shoulders back and down, and then lift the heart off the mat, and then release back down so you can turn the toes under and find that downward facing dog. You could just come up to a table, or you could go all the way up to a down dog. Sometimes in the morning especially, I just do a table position instead, just on my knees. Then you can walk forward, find your forward fold, and then reach the arms all the way up overhead. Then we'll find the side bends, just leaning to one side, and then over to the other side, and then into the chair pose. So bend the knees, set the hips back. Good. Lift up, reach the arms up overhead, and then fold forward again, right into that forward fold. And spread the fingers nice and wide and step back to a plank. Of course, you can always just step back and drop your knees to the floor and come back to that table position if that feels more comfortable. Come down onto the floor again and then press all the way back into a child's pose. So perfect. All right, let's go ahead and add the words. So we're going to make our way back to the end of the mat again. Remember, you can always sit in a different position if that's more comfortable. Bring your hands to your heart, starting out from here. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And then walking forward here. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Coming all the way up to standing, for you are with me. Your rod, and then back to the center, over to the other side, and your staff, they comfort me. Then into the chair pose. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and then fold forward. My cup overflows. And we're going to step back to the plank or to your knees. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the way to the floor, all the days of my life, and then back to child's pose. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let's do that one last time. So this is the 23rd Psalm, just starting again at the back of the mat with your hands at your heart. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And then folding, coming down onto the floor. He makes me lie down in green pastures, lifting the heart. He leads me beside still waters, and then pressing back to down dog, he restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And then stepping forward, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Into the side bends, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And then into the chair. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. And then stepping back, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And then back to child's pose. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.